Hello, everyone. Think about something you want to do. Maybe you want to learn English. Maybe you want to start exercising. Maybe you want to try something new. Now ask yourself one question. What am I waiting for? Maybe you are waiting for more time. Maybe you are waiting to feel ready. Or maybe you are waiting because you want everything to be perfect. You want the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect first step. But there is a problem. Perfect may never come. And while you wait, you do nothing. Many people want to do things well. That is good. There is nothing wrong with trying your best. But trying your best and trying to be perfect are not the same. When you try your best, you begin. You learn. You make mistakes. Then you get better. But when you try to be perfect, you may become afraid. You think too much. You worry about every small thing. Then starting becomes very difficult. Imagine you want to learn English. You want to find the perfect book. So you look online. You find one book. But maybe there is a better one. You keep looking. Then you find a video. But maybe another video is better. You spend hours looking for the best way to study. At the end of the day, you studied nothing. You wanted the perfect way, but a simple way would have helped you more. One book, one short story, 10 minutes of listening. That could have been enough to begin. Sometimes good enough is better than perfect. Why? Because good enough can move. Perfect often stays in the same place. Think about writing a message. You write one sentence. Then you read it again. You change one word. You read it again. You change another word. You worry. Does this sound right? What will they think? After 30 minutes, you still have not sent the message. Maybe the first message was already okay, but you wanted it to be perfect. So a small job became a big problem. This happens in many parts of life. You want to exercise, but you do not have 1 full hour. So you do nothing. You want to clean your house, but you cannot clean everything today. So you clean nothing. You want to study English, but you are too tired to study for a long time. So you do not study at all. We often think we must do everything. If we cannot do everything, we do nothing. But there is another way. Do a little. Walk for 10 minutes. Clean one table. Learn 5 words. A small action is still an action. It does not need to be perfect to help you. Think about a person drawing a picture. They want the picture to be beautiful. They draw one line. Then they look at it. It is not good. They start again. They draw another line. Still not perfect. They start again. After 1 hour, they have no picture. Now imagine another person. They draw. Some lines are good. Some lines are not. They make mistakes. But they continue. After 1 hour, they have a picture. Maybe it is not perfect. But they finished something. And they learned something too. Who can get better faster? Often it is the person who keeps going. You cannot learn from work you never begin. You cannot improve something that you never make. First, you need something real. Then you can make it better. This is why perfect is a difficult goal. You do not really know what perfect looks like. You may finish something. Then you see one small problem. You fix it. Then you see another problem. You fix that too. There can always be one more thing to change. So when will you stop? When will you say, this is enough? If your answer is never, you may become very tired. You may spend all your time fixing small things. You may forget why you started. Maybe you know this feeling. You do something well. 9 things are good. 1 thing is wrong. What do you look at? The one wrong thing. You forget the other 9. You think, I did a bad job. But is that true? Maybe you did a good job with 1 mistake. That is different. Do not let one small problem hide everything you did well. Look at the whole picture. Maybe you spoke English for 5 minutes. You made many good sentences. Then you used 1 wrong word. At night, what do you remember? The wrong word. You think about it again and again. You feel embarrassed. But what about the 5 minutes you spoke? What about the sentences you made well? What about the fact that you tried? Those things matter too. You do not need perfect English to speak English. You need words. You need practice. You need time. Mistakes will come with you. Let them come. Then learn from them. Maybe you think other people are perfect. You see someone doing something very well. They look calm. They look sure of themselves. You think they never make mistakes, but you do not see everything. You do not see their difficult days. You do not see the work before the result. You do not see the mistakes they made alone. You only see one part. Do not compare your whole life to one small part of another person's life. No one does everything perfectly. Everyone forgets things. Everyone makes bad choices. Everyone has days when things go wrong. That is part of being a person. The goal is not to remove every mistake from your life. You cannot. The goal is to keep living and learning when mistakes happen. Imagine a road. You want to walk on it. But before you begin, you look for every small stone. You want to remove all of them. You want the road to be completely clean. But the road is very long. You may spend your whole life cleaning it. Or you can start walking. You may step around some stones. You may fall sometimes. You may need to slow down. But you are moving. Life can be like that. You do not need to fix everything before you begin. You do not need to know every answer. You do not need to feel completely ready. Start with what you have. Learn on the way. Maybe your first try will not be very good. That is okay. It is your first try. Why should your first try look like someone else's 100th try? Give yourself time to learn. Give yourself room to be a beginner. Beginners are not perfect. They ask questions. They make mistakes. They try again. That is how they become better. Maybe today there is something you are waiting to do. Ask yourself why. Are you really not ready? Or are you waiting for perfect? Maybe you can begin with less. Less time. Less knowledge. Less confidence. You do not need everything. You only need enough for one small step. Open the book. Write the first sentence. Take the short walk. Make the call. Try the new thing. Then see what happens. Maybe it will go well. Maybe it will not. Either way, you will know more than you knew before. You will have something to learn from. That is better than waiting forever. The next time your mind says, it is not perfect yet, stop. Ask another question. Is it good enough for the next step? Maybe the answer is yes. Then take that step. You can make changes later. You can learn later. You can improve later. But first you need to begin. Perfect is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. Life will always be a little messy. Plans will change. Mistakes will happen. Some days will not go well. That is okay. You can still move. You can still learn. You can still grow. So do not wait for the perfect time. Do not wait for the perfect plan. Do not wait until you feel like a perfect person. Begin as you are. Use what you have. Take one simple step. It may not be perfect, but it can be real. And sometimes, real is exactly what you need to begin. Sometimes the hardest part is not doing the work. The hardest part is starting. You sit in front of your book. You want to study, but you do not open it. You want to write something, but the page stays empty. You want to try something new, but you keep waiting. Why? Maybe you are afraid your first try will not be good. You want to begin well. You want to know what to do. You want to feel ready. But the more you think, the harder starting becomes. You ask too many questions. What if I make a mistake? What if I am bad at this? What if other people see me fail? These questions can make a small first step feel very big. Imagine you want to speak English. You know some words. You know some simple sentences. But you are afraid to speak. You think, what if I use the wrong word? What if my English sounds strange? What if someone laughs at me? So you stay quiet. You wait until your English becomes better. But there is a problem. How can your speaking become better if you never speak? You need practice. And practice is not perfect. Practice is often slow. It can feel strange. You will forget words. You will say things in the wrong way. That is okay. You are practicing. You are not giving a perfect show. There is a difference. Sometimes we think everyone is watching us. We think people will remember every mistake. But most people are busy with their own lives. They have their own problems. They have their own mistakes. Maybe they notice your mistake. Then a few minutes later, they think about something else. But you may remember the mistake for days. You make it much bigger in your mind. This fear can stop you before you even begin. Think about a person who wants to go to the gym. They have never exercised before. They feel nervous. They think, everyone will know I am new. They will see that I am weak. So they do not go. 1 week passes, then 1 month. They are still waiting to feel ready. But maybe they only need to go for 10 minutes. They do not need to know everything. They do not need to be strong. They only need to walk through the door. The first step can be small, very small. Sometimes, making the first step smaller is the best way to begin. You want to read a book? Read 1 page. You want to clean your room? Clean 1 small place? You want to study English? Listen for 5 minutes. You want to write? Write 1 bad sentence. Yes, 1 bad sentence. Why? Because a bad sentence can become a better sentence. But an empty page cannot teach you much. First, put something on the page. Then look at it. Change it. Learn from it. Keep going. This is how many things are made. The first try is not the final try. Remember that. You do not need to make something great at the beginning. You only need to make a beginning. Imagine building a house. You do not begin with the roof. You begin at the bottom. At first, it does not look like a house. It may only look like a hole in the ground. But that does not mean the work is bad. It means the work has just started. Your first steps may look small too. Maybe no one can see where you are going. Maybe you cannot see it clearly either. That is okay. Keep building. The beginning does not need to look like the end. Many people stop themselves because they want to look good from the first day. They do not want to be a beginner. Being a beginner can feel uncomfortable. You ask simple questions. You need help. Other people know more than you. But everyone begins somewhere. The person you admire was once new too. They also had a first day. They also did not know everything. Maybe their first work was not good. Maybe they made many mistakes. But they continued. That is why they became better. You cannot skip the beginner part. You have to go through it. So let yourself be new. Let yourself be slow. Let yourself ask simple questions. There is no shame in learning. Maybe you want to start something, but you keep making plans. You buy things you need. You watch videos. You read about how to begin. You make another plan. Then another. Planning can be useful. But sometimes planning becomes a place to hide. You feel busy. You feel like you are doing something. But you are still not starting. At some point, you need to stop preparing. You need to try. Maybe your plan is not perfect. Use it anyway. You can change it later. Maybe you do not know enough. Learn while you go. Maybe you feel afraid. Start while you are afraid. You do not need every fear to disappear first. Courage does not always mean feeling strong. Sometimes courage is taking one small step while your hands are shaking. Maybe you send the message. Maybe you speak one English sentence. Maybe you walk into the new place. Maybe you show someone your work. The step may look small to another person, but for you, it can be very big. Respect that step. You did something your fear told you not to do. That matters. Sometimes after you begin, you find something surprising. The thing was not as difficult as you imagined. Your mind made it bigger. You spent 3 days worrying about a job that took 20 minutes. You waited 1 month to make a call that lasted 5 minutes. You were afraid to speak, but the other person was kind. This does not happen every time. Some things really are difficult. But starting helps you see the real problem. Before you start, you only have your worries. After you start, you have information. Now you know what is hard. Now you know what you need to learn. Now you can make a better plan. Action can teach you things that thinking cannot. Imagine standing beside a swimming pool. You want to know what the water feels like. You can stand there for 1 hour. You can think about the water. You can ask other people. But at some point, you need to touch it. Maybe you put 1 foot in first. That is enough. You do not need to jump into the deepest part. Start where you feel safe. Then go a little farther. This is a good way to begin many things. Do not ask yourself to do everything today. Ask yourself to do the smallest real step. Not more planning. Not more waiting. A real step. Open the book. Write your name. Put on your shoes. Send the first message. Learn 1 word. Do something that moves you. Then stop if you need to. Tomorrow, take another step. Small starts can become big changes, but only if you let them begin. Maybe your first try will be bad. Let it be bad. Maybe you will feel embarrassed. That feeling will pass. Maybe you will make a mistake. Learn from it. None of these things mean you should never have started. They mean you are doing something real. Real work has mistakes. Real learning can feel uncomfortable. Real growth takes time. Do not wait to become perfect before you enter the road. The road is where you learn. The road is where you grow. You become better by walking, not by standing at the beginning and thinking about every possible problem. So if there is something you want to do, look at it again. What is stopping you? Do you really need more time? Do you really need more knowledge? Or are you afraid your first try will not be good? If that is the reason, give yourself permission to begin badly. Do it slowly. Do it simply. Do it with mistakes. But do it. Your first step does not need to impress anyone. It only needs to move you from waiting to trying. Once you begin, you can learn. Once you begin, you can change. Once you begin, the next step becomes easier to see. So stop asking your first step to be perfect. It was never meant to be perfect. It was only meant to be the beginning. Starting something can be difficult, but finishing can be difficult too. You begin a job, you work on it. Then you see something you do not like, so you change it. A little later, you find another problem. You change that too. You keep working. You keep fixing. But you never finish. Maybe you know this feeling. You want your work to be better. That is not a bad thing. But sometimes trying to make everything perfect can stop you from finishing. You say, just one more change. Then you make another change. And another. Days pass. The work is still not done. At some point, you need to say, this is enough for now. That can be hard. You may think, but it can still be better. Yes, maybe it can. Most things can be better. But that does not mean you should work on them forever. Sometimes, finished is more useful than perfect. Think about writing an English sentence. You write the sentence. Then you change one word. You read it again. You change another word. You worry about the grammar. You worry about every small mistake. After 20 minutes, you still have one sentence. Now imagine another person. They write 10 simple sentences. Some sentences have mistakes, but they finish. Then they read the sentences again. They find a few problems. They learn something. Which person had more chances to practice? Often it is the person who finished. Finishing gives you something to look at, something to learn from, something to improve next time. An unfinished idea cannot teach you as much. Imagine you want to make dinner. You want to cook the perfect meal. You spend hours looking for the best recipe. Then you worry about every small thing. You are afraid the food will not taste good. In the end, you make nothing. Now imagine making a simple meal. Maybe it is not beautiful. Maybe it is not the best meal you ever made. But you eat it. You learn what worked. You learn what did not. Next time, you can make it better. This is how growth often works. First, you finish. Then you learn. Then you try again. You do not need your first finished work to be your best work. It probably will not be. And that is okay. Your first finished work helps you make your second one. Your second one helps you make your third one. Little by little, you improve. But if you never finish the first one, you may stay in the same place. Sometimes we are afraid to finish because finishing means other people can see our work. While the work is not done, you can hide. You can say, I am still working on it. But when you finish, you may need to show it. That can feel scary. What if people do not like it? What if they find a mistake? What if they think it is not good? These worries are normal. But remember something. You do not need everyone to like what you do. And one bad opinion does not mean your work has no value. Maybe someone can help you see a problem. Good. Now you can learn. Maybe someone does not like your work. That is okay too. Not everyone likes the same things. Do not let the fear of one person's opinion stop you from finishing. Think about a student doing homework. The student knows every answer may not be right, but they finish the work. Then the teacher checks it. Some answers are wrong. Now the student knows what to study. The mistakes help the student see the next step. But what if the student never gives the homework to the teacher? The student may keep thinking about the answers forever. They lose the chance to learn. Finishing does not mean you did everything perfectly. It means you reached the end of one try. That is important. One try is finished. Now you can look back. What went well? What was difficult? What can you do better next time? These questions help you grow. Maybe you started cleaning your house. You wanted every room to look perfect. You worked for hours. Then you became tired. You looked around. There was still more to do. You felt bad. You thought, I did not finish everything. But maybe you cleaned the kitchen. Maybe you cleaned one room. That is something. Sometimes you need to choose a smaller finish. You do not need to finish everything. Finish one part. Clean one table. Read one chapter. Write one page. Study one lesson. A small finish can give you energy. You can say, I did it. Then you can begin the next part later. Big goals can feel heavy. Smaller goals are easier to finish. This is another way to stop trying to be perfect. Make the job smaller. Give it a clear end. Maybe you want to study English. Do not say, I will study until my English is good. When does that end? It is hard to know. Say, today I will listen to one short story. Now you know what finished looks like. Listen to the story. Reach the end. Good. You've finished something. Tomorrow you can do another small thing. Many small finishes can become a big change. Think about building a long road. The workers do not build the whole road in one day. They finish one part, then another, then another. After some time, the road is there. Your goals can work this way too. Do not ask yourself to finish the whole journey today. Finish today's part. That is enough. Maybe you are working on something now. You have changed it many times. You still think it is not good enough. Ask yourself a question. Does it really need more work? Or are you only afraid to finish? Be honest. Maybe one more change is useful. Make it. But maybe you are only looking for problems because you are afraid to stop. If so, choose an ending. Say, I will work for 20 more minutes. Or say, I will make one more change. Then finish. You may feel uncomfortable. That is okay. You are learning how to let your work go. You are learning how to say, this is enough for this time. That does not mean you will never do better. It means you will do better next time. There will be another chance. Another lesson. Another try. You do not need to put everything you know into one piece of work. You do not need to show your best self every time. You are allowed to make something simple. You are allowed to finish something with small mistakes. You are allowed to learn after you finish. Sometimes the lesson only comes at the end. You need to see the whole work. You need to see what happened. Then you understand more. Maybe you learn that your plan was too big. Maybe you learn that one part needed more time. Maybe you learn that you worried about things that did not matter. You could not learn these things if you stopped in the middle. Finishing gives you experience, and experience can help you more than endless thinking. Think about all the things you want to do well. You want to speak English well. You want to do good work. You want to make good choices. That is natural, but you will not become better by waiting for perfect work. You become better by doing real work. By finishing, by learning, by trying again. Maybe your work today is only okay. Let it be okay. Maybe your English today has mistakes. Speak anyway. Maybe your first idea is simple. Finish it. Then come back later with more experience. You can make the next one better. This is how people grow. Not by making one perfect thing, but by making many things. Learning each time. Changing each time. Growing each time. So look at something you have not finished. Maybe it has been waiting for days. Maybe weeks. Ask yourself what it really needs. Does it need more work? Or does it need an ending? Maybe today is the day to finish it. Not perfectly. Not without mistakes. Just finish one try. Reach the end. Look back. Learn what you can. Then let yourself move forward. Because something finished can teach you. Something finished can give you confidence. Something finished can become the first step towards something better. Perfect may keep you working forever, but finished lets you learn what comes next. So do your best. Learn from your mistakes. Make changes when they really help. But when the work is good enough, let it be done. Finish. Learn. Then begin again. Your next try can be better. But first, you need to finish this one. When you want to be perfect, mistakes can feel scary. You want to do everything right. You want every answer to be correct. You want every plan to work. So you try to stay away from mistakes. But there is a problem. If you never make mistakes, you may never learn what you need to change. Mistakes can show you something important. They can show you what you do not know yet. Think about learning English. You read a sentence. You think you understand every word. Then you try to use the sentence. Something sounds wrong. Maybe you use the wrong word. Maybe you put the words in the wrong place. Now you see something you did not see before. You found a part that needs more practice. That mistake gave you useful information. Without the mistake, you may never know what you need to learn. Imagine walking into a dark room. You do not know where the table is. You walk forward. Then your leg touches the table. Now you know where it is. Next time, you can walk another way. A mistake can be like that. It shows you something you could not see before. Maybe you try a new way to study. You study for 2 hours every night. After 1 week, you are very tired. You do not want to study anymore. Was the whole week useless? No. You learned something? 2 hours may be too much for you. Maybe 30 minutes is better? Now you can make a new plan. You tried. You saw the problem. You changed your way. This is how learning works. But people who want to be perfect may not like this process. They want to know the right way before they begin. They want to make the best choice from the start. But how can you always know? Sometimes you need to try first. You need to see what happens. Then you can choose a better way. Imagine buying a new pair of shoes. They look good. They are your size. You think they will be comfortable. But after walking for 1 hour, your feet hurt. Now you know something you did not know before. You needed to walk in the shoes to learn it. Life is often like that too. Thinking can help you. Planning can help you. But some lessons only come after you try. You need real experience. And real experience can include mistakes. Maybe you are afraid of giving the wrong answer, so you never raise your hand. You stay quiet. You wait until you are completely sure. But one day, another student gives the wrong answer. The teacher explains the problem. Now everyone understands it better. That wrong answer helped the class learn. A mistake is not always something to hide. Sometimes it opens the door to a better answer. Think about a child building a tower. The child puts one block on another. The tower falls. The child tries again. This time, the child makes the bottom wider. The tower stands longer. How did the child learn? The first tower fell. The child saw what happened. Then the child changed something. The falling tower was part of the lesson. Your mistakes can work the same way. Something does not work. Stop. Look. Ask why. Then change one thing. Try again. You do not need to become angry. You do not need to hide what happened. Just use the information. Maybe you cooked something and it tasted bad. Use less salt next time. Maybe you spoke too quickly and people did not understand you. Slow down next time. Maybe you waited until the last day to finish your work. Start earlier next time. The lesson can be simple. Mistakes do not always need a big answer. Sometimes, one small change is enough. This is why trying is so important. When you only think, everything stays inside your mind. You can imagine many problems, but you do not know which problems are real. When you try, you begin to see. This part is easy. This part is difficult. I need help here. I need more time. Now you know more. You can make better choices. Trying gives you answers. Sometimes we look at people who are very good at something. We think they know exactly what to do. We think they always make the right choice. But often they became good because they tried many things. Some things worked. Some things did not. They learned from both. Maybe they tried 10 ways before finding one good way. You only see the good way. You do not see the other 9. Do not be afraid if your first way does not work. Maybe it is helping you find the second way. And the second way may help you find the third. Every try can move you closer to something better. Think about finding your way in a new city. You take a wrong street. Now you know that street does not take you where you want to go. You turn around. You try another street. You are not back at the beginning. You know more now. You learn something about the city. A wrong way can still teach you about the road. The same is true in life. A plan that does not work can teach you. A bad choice can teach you. A difficult result can teach you. But only if you stop and look at what happened. Do not only say, "That was bad." Ask why. What made it difficult? What can you do differently? What should you keep? What should you change? These questions turn mistakes into lessons. Maybe you are working on something now. You want to do it perfectly. So every small problem makes you nervous. Try looking at problems in a new way. A problem is not always a sign to stop. Sometimes it is a sign that says, "Look here. This part needs more work. This part needs another way." The problem can show you your next step. You do not need to love making mistakes. No one likes every mistake. Some mistakes are painful. Some cost time. Some make life more difficult. Of course, it is good to be careful. It is good to think before you act. But being careful and being afraid to act are not the same. You can think. You can prepare. Then you still need to try. You cannot remove every possible mistake before you begin. There will always be something you did not know. That is okay. You can learn when it comes. Maybe you want to speak English without making mistakes. But speaking is how you learn to speak. You need to use the words. You need to hear yourself. You need to notice what is difficult. Then you practice. Little by little, you improve. If you wait until your English is perfect before you speak, you may wait forever. The practice comes first. Better English comes later. This is true for many things. First, you try. Then you learn. Then you change. Then you try again. The order matters. You cannot always learn everything before the first try. Some learning comes after it. So give yourself room to make small mistakes. Try the new way. Ask the question. Speak the sentence. Make the first plan. See what happens. Then look back. What worked? What did not? What did you learn? Choose one thing to change. Then go again. This is a simple way to grow. Try. Look. Learn. Change. Try again. You do not need to know everything. You only need to stay open to learning. Maybe your mistake feels embarrassing today. One day it may become a useful story. You may look back and say, "That is how I learned." You may even be thankful that the first plan did not work. It helped you find a better one. You cannot always know this in the moment. So do not be too quick to call every mistake a waste. Give the lesson time to appear. The next time something goes wrong, do not only think, "I failed." Ask, "What did this show me?" Maybe it showed you where you need practice. Maybe it showed you that your plan was too big. Maybe it showed you that you need help. Maybe it showed you a better way. Find the lesson. Use it. Then move forward. Perfect people do not grow, because perfect people do not exist. Real people grow. They try. They make mistakes. They learn. They change. Then they try again. You are a real person too. So let yourself learn in a real way. Do not hide from every mistake. Do not let the fear of being wrong keep you still. Take the step. See what happens. Learn what you can. Then make the next step better. Your mistakes do not need to stop your progress. They can become part of it. And sometimes, the thing that went wrong today can show you how to do better tomorrow. Sometimes you need to stop and say, "This is enough." That can be difficult. You look at your work. You see one small problem, then another. You think, "I can make this better." Maybe you can. But do you always need to? Not everything in life needs to be perfect. Sometimes, good enough is enough. Imagine cleaning your house. You clean the floor. You wash the dishes. You put things away. The house looks much better. Then you see a little dust on a table. You feel tired. But you think, "I cannot stop yet." So you keep cleaning. Then you find something else. And something else. There is always more to do. At some point, you need to rest. The house does not need to be perfect. It is clean enough. You did enough for today. Life can feel lighter when you learn to say this. I did enough. This is good enough. I can stop now. These words do not mean you are lazy. They do not mean you do not care. They mean you know when to let something go. Think about studying English. Maybe you plan to study for 30 minutes. You listened to a story. You learned some new words. You practiced speaking. Then you made one mistake. You think about the mistake. You feel like your study time was not good enough. But wait, you studied, you listened, you learned. One mistake does not remove all of that. You did enough for today. Tomorrow you can learn more. You do not need to learn everything in one day. Sometimes, people who want to be perfect have trouble enjoying what they finish. They reach a goal, but they quickly look for the next problem. They do something well, but they only see what could be better. They never stop and enjoy the moment. Maybe you know this feeling. You finish a big job. For 1 minute, you feel happy. Then you think, I should have done this better. Or, now I need to do the next thing. You do not give yourself time to feel good about what you did. Try something different. When you finish, stop. Look at what you did. Say, I finished it. Maybe it is not perfect. That is okay. Let yourself feel happy for a moment. You worked. You tried. You reached the end. That matters. You can learn from the problems later. But first, notice what went well. This can help you enjoy your life more. Because life is not only about becoming better, it is also about living today. Imagine eating a good meal. But while you eat, you only think about tomorrow's meal. You do not enjoy the food in front of you. Then tomorrow comes. Again, you think about the next day. When will you enjoy the meal? When will you enjoy your life? If you are always waiting to become better, richer, stronger, or more successful, you may forget to live now. There will always be another goal. There will always be something to improve. You can keep growing, but you can also enjoy where you are today. Both are possible. You can say, I want to get better. And you can also say, I am happy with what I did today. These ideas can live together. Maybe you are learning English. You want to speak better. That is a good goal. Keep learning. Keep practicing. But do not wait until your English is perfect before you feel proud. Be proud when you understand one new sentence. Be happy when you speak even with mistakes. Enjoy the small changes. They are part of the journey too. If you only look at the end, the road can feel very long. But if you notice small good moments, the road can feel different. You begin to see that you are already living your life. You are not only waiting for a better future. Sometimes good enough means knowing what really matters. Imagine you are making a birthday card for a friend. You spend time making it. You write kind words. The card is not perfect. One line is a little wrong. The picture is simple, but your friend smiles. Why? Because the card came from you. The small problems did not matter. The love mattered more. We often spend too much time on small things. We worry about details that other people may never notice. We make ourselves tired trying to fix everything. Ask yourself, what really matters here? Maybe the answer is simple. Finishing matters. Trying matters. Helping someone matters. Spending time together matters. Learning matters. Not every small problem needs your time. Learn to choose. Some things need more work. Other things are already good enough. Knowing the difference can give you more time and energy. You can use that energy for the things that truly matter. Maybe you are afraid that if you accept good enough, you will stop growing. But good enough does not mean forever. It means enough for now. That is important. This is good enough for today. This is good enough for my first try. This is good enough for this moment. Later you can learn more. Later you can try again. Later you can make something better. You do not need to put your whole future into one day. Give yourself another chance tomorrow. Think about a long book. You read one page. The page is not the whole book. But you do not need to read the whole book today. One page is enough for now. Tomorrow you can read another. Your life is the same. You do not need to fix everything today. You do not need to reach every goal. You do not need to become the best version of yourself before tonight. Do what you can. Then let the day end. Rest. Begin again tomorrow. There is peace in knowing when to stop. You close the book. You turn off the computer. You put your work away. You say, I did what I could today. Maybe everything did not go as planned. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe some work is still waiting. That is okay. Tomorrow is another day. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to leave some things for later. Your life does not need to be finished today. Maybe you look at yourself and see many things you want to change. You want to be more confident. You want to be healthier. You want to speak better English. You want to make better choices. Keep working on these things. But remember something. You are living now. Not only after you change. Not only after you reach your goal. Now. This day is part of your life too. Do not spend every day telling yourself that you are not ready to enjoy life yet. You do not need to become perfect first. You can learn and live at the same time. You can grow and rest at the same time. You can want more and still be thankful for what you have now. This is not giving up. It is finding balance. Maybe today you did not do everything. But did you do something? Maybe you did not finish the whole job. But did you finish one part? Maybe you made mistakes. But did you learn something? Look at what is there. Do not only look at what is missing. This can change the way you see your days. A normal day may not look special. But maybe you learned one thing. Maybe you helped one person. Maybe you tried when you wanted to stop. Maybe you rested when your body needed it. These things matter. Your life is made of normal days. Do not wait for a perfect day before you feel good about your life. Perfect days are very hard to find. Real days are different. Real days can be messy. You may feel happy in the morning and tired at night. You may do one thing well and make a mistake later. You may have a good plan and then change it. That is life. Let it be real. You do not need to control every part. You do not need to make every moment perfect. Do your best where it matters. Learn when things go wrong. Then let some things go. The next time you finish something, stop before you look for another problem. Take a moment. Look at what you did. Say, this is enough for now. Maybe your mind will say, but it could be better. You can answer, yes, maybe, and I can do better next time. Then move forward. There will be another day, another try, another chance to learn. You do not need to make this one perfect. You only need to let it be finished. Remember why you started. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to make something. You wanted to live a better life. Do not let the search for perfect make you forget those things. Perfect is not the goal of every day. Sometimes the goal is to begin. Sometimes the goal is to finish. Sometimes the goal is to learn. And sometimes the goal is simply to enjoy the life in front of you. So do your best. But know when your best is enough. Make changes, but know when to stop. Keep growing, but do not forget to enjoy who you are becoming. You will never have a perfect life. No one does. But you can have a real life. A life where you try. A life where you make mistakes. A life where you learn. A life where you finish things and move forward. Let that be enough. Let today be enough when you have done what you can. Let your first try be enough to teach you something. Let small progress be enough to make you smile. You can try again tomorrow. For now, take a moment. Look at how far you have come. Then say the words you may need to hear. I did my best today. It was not perfect, but it was enough. Thank you for spending this time with English Owl. Keep learning. Keep trying. And let good enough be enough. See you in the next story.